Hello and welcome. This is Ruth Hamilton, and today I have another video for Tonic Studios, and this one is called Celebration Time, and it's one of the Designer's Choice series. So we'll have a little look at it before I start cutting anything out. And as you can see, there are lots of layering dies here, an outside die, a verso die with some detail, and then two different sizes of a die set here, and then some patterns. A beautiful sort of sun ray effect on this one, and then a flower with some latticey effect on there as well. And this I can see says happy birthday. I would say the main part of this die set is the ability to change the center of it there, and there's a lovely scrolly effect die you can see there, and then all of these different sentiments down here and this one can be changed to change the wording in here. But I think you're going to get plenty of use out of this with the rest of your own dies and stamps, and it's certainly something that I'll be getting plenty of use out of too. I've gone ahead and cut one. I've used some of this Caribbean Sea pearlized card, and I thought the colour was really beautiful there. As you know, I love this colour, so that's what we'll be featuring in my cards. But I wanted to show you how these work, and then we can change that all up by using different sentiment dies here as well. So I'll go ahead and pick out the rest of my card, and I'll be back in just a second or two. I've cut some pieces out now, and before I go ahead and assemble them, I just want to show you what these dies actually do. So this is the very largest one, and I have cut that out in the turquoise colour in this Caribbean Sea card here. But as you can see, I then used the next die in, which was this pattern. And that one not only has a little pattern in it, but it also has an outside edge, which I hadn't actually noticed at first. So I have recut the largest one in white, that's this one, and then the one that I had cut exactly the same as this in this colour, I placed this die on top of, and that not only gave me this beautiful pattern around the outside, but it also removed this outside piece. That's just enough to leave a little piece around the outside so that whenever you layer these up, you have a beautiful matte effect on it there. So that's what removing this piece does. After that, then that's these two dies. I then used one of the layering dies again. There are actually two, so you can have multiple layers, but I just used this one, and I've cut that out in white, and that will fit nicely on there. And then I took this die and I cut that out in the turquoise, and when I had that done, I also used this one. So I had the flat piece and I cut out this area, and then I ran it through the die cutting machine again with this piece taken out and put in here. And I also taped this little piece into the centre, and that then gave me this one which says happy birthday on it, and that goes on there. So I've also got these little stars that are left from that, and I'll be able to use those on another card. But I just wanted to explain the layering effect of that. There are two different pattern dies here that I could have used instead of this. You could you could use one of one and then another one on the bottom. They don't actually have to be the same either, and you could use the different sentiments. And this other layering die could be right in behind there if you wanted to build that up. You can just glue these together, or you can pop them up on 3D foam pads or whatever, but I'll go ahead now and make a card with that. I decided to go ahead with this other die and add another mat in below that. So I've used the Holo Waves holographic card with this second layer, and I'm popping that in behind. Now I think it's important that the sentiment is seen a bit more clearly than that, and it doesn't just blend into the back. So what I've done is I've taken this scroll die and I've cut it out with white card, and just before I take that out of the die, what I'm going to do is add some double-sided tape to these pieces. I'll just show you here, just there and there. Now if there's any showing on the other side, and there's not there, but anyway, if there had have been I could have just snipped that off. But that will hold those pieces in there, and then when I take that out of the die, everything will come out. So what I can do now is move that aside because it's very, very bright. I can put this in behind here. All those pieces will be intact, and you can see here that I haven't got any gaps in that, and that then will look lovely when it goes on top of this one as well. You'll see the happy birthday very clearly, and you'll also see that beautiful holographic card in behind. I've gone ahead and added lots of stars around the outside of this, as you can see from the two little star dies that are in the set. So I've cut them out in the holographic silver and this Caribbean tide as well, and these tiny ones are the ones that came from in these pieces here. And I've also added a couple on top there, and the card is really, really bright and shiny, but as if that wasn't enough, I decided to add some glitter drops. So what I've done is just picked out random rays, as I would call them, in here and here. I'm not sure if you can, yeah, you can see that there. And I've added some in there, and then some silver sequins just to fill in some of the gaps there, and I thought that turned out really, really well. You see the way that card's really sparkly, isn't it gorgeous? So just before I go, I realised that the card that I had been using there wasn't on the Tonic website anymore. So I have picked out another one here, which is called Powder Blue Lace, and that is a speciality card. It's exactly the same colour, but it has a beautiful pattern on it, and you could substitute that for that, and it would look really beautiful on those stars. So I've gone ahead then, and I have prepared a second card, and it's much in the same way as the first one, but a different shape to the card base. So I've taken a 6x6 card, that's a Craft Perfect card, and scored from here to here on the front, and then burnished that, and that will open up and be a twisted easel card, so that will then sit up like this. So I've taken some Turkish turquoise, you can see that just shining in the background there, and this is Miami Mint, another speciality card, and I have cut the largest one, the turquoise one, to 14.5 centimeters square, and the mat on top of that then is 14 centimeters square. I'm going to glue that onto the base there, and then for this piece I have cut a triangle, actually cut a square first of all, of the turquoise again, 14 centimeters, and a square of 13 centimeters of the Miami Mint, and then I have cut those from point to point so that they both fit on top of each other, and that then will get glued on here. So just to recap, 14 centimeters square and 13 centimeters square for this one, and then they will go on there and leave a lovely little border around the edges, and that then will get glued up like this. For my next part then, I wanted to see quite a bit of that turquoise because I just love that, and I've cut the large mat again with the first outside die. That's this large one, exactly the same as the first card that I did. The large outside die here, and I've cut that in white. Then I've also cut it along with the pattern die on top, and I've done that in turquoise, and I've glued the two together there, and that then will go on to my twisted easel part. And for the centre of that then, I have taken the beautiful die with the banner across the centre, and I have cut that out in the Miami Mint. I'll just move that over there, and added this die top and bottom, cut it out once at the top, and then flipped it over and cut it out the second time with it at the bottom, and that has given me this beautiful die cut, which is going to go on top. And I cut the shape that was slightly larger than that in white and glued one on top of the other, and now that's going to go on there, and that will all go on here. But for my banner in this one, I have cut out the white with congratulations in the centre, and I have cut out the turquoise in the back, and I've glued the little pieces in the same way as I did for my first card, and I've glued the two of those on top. And then instead of cutting this right into the centre, what I'm going to do this time is I've got 3D foam pads on top, and I'm just going to add that right across the centre there when that all goes together on the card. And that's just another way of doing that, and it will add a little bit of dimension. I've also got these glitter drops again, and I'm going to add some into the centre there. And then for the stopper, I just want to show you this before I start gluing it all together. I've taken the two star dies again that I used earlier. That's these two. And I've cut the large ones out in the turquoise. I've actually cut them both out in the turquoise, but I've put foam pads on these, and I'll put those across the bottom of the card there, and you'll see where I add them that they'll be able to act as the little stopper. So I'll go ahead and assemble all of this one. I love the colours of these cards and all the different elements so much that when I went to make a third card, I've stuck to similar colours as well. And I've used some glitter card here. I'll put the name in the description down below, and made a tiny little card, and I think it's really, really cute. And if you just need a little card to say you're sending hugs to someone, this is ideal. So what I've done is I've taken this largest layering die, and I have folded a piece of card which was big enough to accommodate that die in there, and I have folded it over, and then where this piece is here, that's the piece that I wanted to join on, so that will be on the fold. And if you just place your die into there, and you can see on the other side that the cutting edge was just slightly above the fold of the card there, that means that whenever you open it out, it's going to be joined here because you won't have cut through that bit. So that makes a really beautiful little card. And then with the glitter card, I went ahead with this die, and then I used the other different decorative detail die this time. I'll show you that on a white background. That's this one. And I've used it top and bottom, cut it out once and then rotated it over and did the other side. And then to get these beautiful flowers, if you remember from this twisted easel card, I had cut out this pattern. So what I did was I cut the pattern out again, and then I took my tiny scissors and just nipped out the flower. I've done it twice, and then I glued on the little cut out flower onto white card, and then cut around the outside of that, so that if I had put that Miami Mint flower on top of the glitter card with all the detail of the two of them, it would have just been lost and you wouldn't have seen it. So I backed it onto white card first and then glued it on, and I added some of my blue Lagoon crystal drops on top of that. They're glitter drops actually, on top of that, and then I have added 2 or 3 little details of crystal drops here, the glitter drops here as well. And I have taken some of the Arctic Blue 9mm double satin crafter's ribbon, which is the Craft Perfect stuff, and I've made a little loop and cut 2 little tails on it, and I think that turned out a really beautiful little card. And you've just enough room to write whatever you like on it. Actually, I should show you this too. I've opened the card up, and then just on the inside, I didn't want to make a mess of the outside or change that in any way, but I've just cut straight across the bottom, just nipped off a tiny little piece, and that way the card is no longer an actual circle and will sit up really well and won't rock about or fall over. So I have those 3 beautiful cards, I think anyway, because the dies were so nice and the colours of card are so beautiful. I think they turned out really well. I'm very pleased with them. So I hope you have enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy the die set if you have it as well, or if you want to have it, you can have a look down below in the description. So when I say this, I mean down below the video you'll find the description, and it usually says see more, so you just click on that and that will open up the full comment part that I am writing about the dies and whatnot, and then you'll find all my affiliate links down there as well if you're interested in buying these dies. And if you do like the video, I'd love you to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to do that as well, and come back again soon. Thanks very much for watching in the meantime. Thank you. Bye bye.